Well, it looks like there's a brand new player in the Source Unit game, and we're going to uncover what Modus is all about. We've got their product expert, Jason Digos, in the house, and we're going to find out exactly what makes this new brand so unique. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about Modus. And it starts now. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and you are tuned in to CMA Networks, where we talk mobile electronics day in and day out. On the menu today is a new player in the game. We're talking about Modus, a brand that unveiled itself earlier on this season with several offerings, both in amplifiers, speakers, and yes, source units, which is the topic of today's show. Joining us today is Jason Digos, their product expert, and I'd like to welcome him to the show. Jason, really excited to talk to you about these new Modus source units. What can you tell us about what we are going to chat about?
Hey, Ben, thanks for having us. We're super excited to be here. Love to talk to you about our new lineup of AIM head units.
All right, Jay, it looks like AIM is the name of the game today. But first, an opportunity for our partner SiriusXM to remind you why it's always a great add-on sale. And when we come back, let's find out about Modus source units. Don't you dare go away.
Hey, Paul here with SiriusXM, and I'd like to talk to you about attachment selling and why the SiriusXM product is one of the best things to add, especially since we don't trade dollars with any other category. I could go through all of this, but let's hear what some of our dealers have to say.
It's an easy add-on that takes, 10, 15 minutes if we're running an antenna, 1 minute if we've got an adapter to plug it into the factory SiriusXM antenna, and it's extra money, so no brainer.
I present it to every customer because a lot of customers don't know what all they can do with Sirius. They don't know what all content they could have. It just makes too much sense not to sell it.
It creates a different customer loyalty and customer security when you explain to them why it's a better experience. Just gets them back in the door. And then the next car, they're already asking for it again. So it just keeps selling itself. It makes more sense.
Well, there you have it. You heard from our dealers. Just remember some of the best practices. Make sure you have one on display so you can demo it. Make sure you're taking advantage of our rewards program, because if you're not taking advantage of that, you're leaving even more money on the table. Make sure you got our POP up on display. And other than that, just make sure you're recommending it.
And welcome back to the show. Our guest today is, of course, Jason Digos, industry veteran. What's going on, Jason? How are you?
Everything's great, Ben. Thanks for having us here.
I'll tell you what, you have been a busy man. I mean, I see you everywhere. I saw you at different shows. I think you were just at a show this past weekend at the Electrify Expo with that crazy Cybertruck. If y'all haven't seen that yet, we'll definitely check that out. But, Modus, for many who are tuning in, might be hearing about this for the first time. If you haven't, obviously, you know that you guys launched back at MasterTech earlier on this season. But tell us a little bit about Modus, and for those that may be hearing about it for the first time.
Thanks, Ben. Well, Modus, we officially launched back in March at the MasterTech Expo. And we're just a bunch of industry veterans that got together and kind of built around a really cool patented technology in our amplifiers that was invented by Tony DeMore and Juan Rodriguez. And we've built a team to really just kind of take a little bit different angle and approach to what's out there in the mobile electronics market. So, it's a full lineup of products. So, of course, amplifiers, speakers, subwoofers, head units for both car and marine applications. So we're super excited. Yes, we've been super busy, getting our product out there, going to shows, talking to dealers and customers. And, right about now, we're getting ready to start launching and shipping products. So it's a really exciting time over here at Modus.
Amazing, amazing. Okay. I'm lucky because I've actually seen and played with some of this product already. But today we're going to break down this source unit offering coming to you from Modus. Now, source unit is a big undertaking, right? There's some big players already in the source unit game. However, we are going to focus on a couple of the cool features that the minds at Modus have kind of come up with to make things really interesting. And I think I'm going to start off here with, I think what I feel is going to be one of the most popular models. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, but the AIM 10 seems to be the model that is going to get a lot of attention. What can you tell us about this new AIM 10 model?
Yeah, Ben, the AIM 10 we feel like is going to be one of the hottest products in our lineup. So it is a 10-inch modular screen. It's got a single DIN chassis. And when I say modular, what I mean is that the screen is separate from the actual module. So it's connected via an umbilical cord. In our case, it's about 1.5 foot USB-C cable. So it gives you a lot of installation flexibility, especially for the custom applications. Now, of course, it's wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, SiriusXM capable, because you know we love our guys over at Sirius. We are also Maestro compatible. You know, that's a big deal with a lot of installations. We want to maintain a lot of those factory features and put them on a larger screen. So we can do that with our Modus head units. Some of the other really cool things about the Modus head unit, Ben, is that all of them have digital optical out. That's variable with the volume control. So we know that's important for sound quality, right? We're capable of playing high resolution FLAC files, and we want to get that sound quality down to an external DSP or even right into an amplifier. So that Toslink cable is really important, especially in high fidelity applications. Onboard tuning capability is another thing that we've got. A full-blown 15-band EQ with presets, up to 6 presets. And then we even have some factory presets in there that our team has designed. So we've actually listened to these and we've crafted them so that they make more sense. And the other cool thing is that you can take our built-in EQ tunings and you can adjust them from there. So let's just say that you like, you know, our Vivid tune. You can go and listen to your vehicle and you can adjust it from there. So we've created that kind of first building block for you in the system. So a lot of really cool things going on in the Modus head unit.
Well, it's kind of like I said, Jay, you guys pretty much thought of everything imaginable when it comes to a new source unit in this new AIM-10. I want to circle back to one big point here, which I think makes this unit super unique, and that is the custom install ability of this unit. Now, you already mentioned that this is a modular unit, so we understand that there's a screen, there's a cord, and then there's the actual brain itself. Do you have the chassis that you can show? How big of a space is it? Is it really compact? And can you show us that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've got it right here. So it is a single DIN chassis, okay? But it's a shallow mount chassis. So really easy. You can take the head unit. You can actually mount the screen right on the head unit if you wanted to. So it doesn't have to be modular. But we know in a lot of applications, somebody's going to want to flush mount that screen. So this chassis is a single DIN height, but also very shallow. Okay, so you can mount this anywhere. The other thing that's really cool is that there are all of the connectors are on the back, and then that connector that you were talking about from the screen, it's a USB-C platform. So we will have longer extensions available. Right now it's about 1.5 feet, but we know that, you know, some guys will have to mount that somewhere else. But the chassis itself, pretty shallow, compact, and packed with all kinds of really cool stuff.
Okay, now I'm going to level up here. So you installers, listen to what I'm about to say. When I seen this unit installed in a vehicle, in one of your demo vehicles, I noticed that the unit behind you has buttons, but the screen that I saw didn't have any buttons. What is going on there?
So again, you got a keen eye there, Ben. So what's really cool about the AIM-10 is it does come with the buttons attached, right? So we need that for volume control and accessing all the different features. What you saw didn't have the button, so this button cluster actually comes off. And what we're going to do is these are going to be releasing now with the buttons, so we're going to need them for a little bit while we perfect the software, but the software is going to be updatable, and you'll be able to remove the button cluster, and then all of these functions will be soft keys on the screen. So that's something that's really cool, again, for that custom application. But that button cluster is removable now, and once we update the software, you'll be able to download it, plug it in, update it, and you'll have on-screen controls, and that means you can disconnect the button cluster and do some really cool installs with that.
All right, so Jay, let's stay on this custom install track here. So we realize it's modular. Now you're telling me I can take off the buttons and only use the screen, and that's super cool as well. Now let's take it a level further. What about the guys that want multiple cameras? What do we have for them?
Great question, Ben. So the AIM-10 and all of the other AIM head units have multiple camera inputs. We can do 4 camera inputs. Of course, you'll have your rear camera. We can do front camera, and then a left and right camera if you choose. And the cool thing with the left and right camera, it does have a trigger input. So the way we have it set up in one of our demo cars is that when you activate the turn signal, you're going to turn left. we have it set up as a blind spot camera. So it activates that, puts the blind spot on the screen, and then we can, safely change lanes. So there are 4 camera inputs. They're composite, but it's also compatible with AHD cameras. So that little bit higher resolution, better video quality. And while we're on video, there is an HDMI video in as well. So if you've got an external source that you want to go to, we do have that as well on board the chassis with an HDMI. It's a mini HDMI, so you'll have to have an adapter, but it's on there for you.
Okay, now on that topic of triggers, does this unit provide any external triggers if you want to add any accessories, for example?
Absolutely. We have 4 negative output triggers. Now, the really cool thing is that it gives you those triggers on the screen, and they're programmable. Not only can you program the icons, right? So we can customize the icons on the screen. So like you can see, I've got a garage door opener, an accessory, some lights. You can change those icons to whatever that output is. And you can also change how the output acts. So you can do a momentary or latched output. So depending on the application, you can program that in our setup screen on what the icon is and how that output reacts. So we've got 4 of those, and that's really cool because, again, custom applications, there might be some really cool things you're doing with lighting. One thing that we do a lot of that I really like that I've been doing for a while is like garage door opener. That way you don't have that hanging out there. You can activate that with a separate module and put that on your screen. So there's a lot of really cool custom things that you can do with the negative trigger outputs on your head unit.
My last question for you as far as features go. Now, you did mention earlier on, this comes with a digital optical toslink out, which is variable, which is great to have, especially when you're system building. But on that note, what type of capability or outputs does this unit provide?
So for the analog output, we have 4 channels of powered output, of course, at 25 watts RMS. And then on the RCA preamp side, there are 8 preamp outputs that are 4-volt RMS, unclipped at full volume. So again, we are car audio people. We want the best sound quality. So we made sure that we have a really strong, robust preamp output at max volume, 4 volts out across all preamp outputs, and there's 8 of them. So if you're building a system that's got active front channels, you want to use the tuning capability on the head unit, you can do that with active front, rear, and then subwoofer. So 8 channels of preamp out, 4-volt RMS.
All right, so it seems like this new AIM 10 source unit from Modus is packed with a bunch of unique features that I honestly have not seen on the market right now. So congratulations for that. And really, if you're a custom installer, this unit here has some, features that really help you get that custom install done. Now, the fun doesn't end there because according to Jason, there are more models on the way. So Jay, what can you tell us about a couple other form factors that will be available soon in the AIM series?
Yeah, Ben, we've got a couple of different source units in the AIM lineup. So I've got a 7-inch double din, and of course the 10-inch that we've been talking about. We've also got a 12-inch modular unit, and then get this, Ben, a 15-inch modular unit as well. So those are all coming really soon. The 7 and the 10 will be launches shortly, and then the 12 and the 15 towards the end of the year. Give us a couple more months to get those going. That's going to have the updated GUI with the on-screen controls.
I'm sorry, Jay. Did you say there's going to be a 15-inch version?
Oh yeah, yep. That's going to be cool. I mean, it's a pretty good size.
That's giant.
Yeah, it is, and that's going to give us a lot of really crazy custom applications. I think, especially in older vehicles. We see a lot of really cool guys building C10 trucks and things like that. So it's not going to be an everyday thing, but for that custom application with that big screen, it's going to be really cool.
All right. You keep on saying the word custom, and I saved this little tidbit for the end because this, what I feel, is going to be a game changer. So talking to you fab guys out there, right? You're looking at this thing and you're like, wow, this is cool. It's modular. It's got a shallow chassis. It does everything I needed to do for audio, but it is always a lot of work to make these things fit. Well, Jay, why don't you tell the folks at home how Modus is going to make this easier for those custom fab guys?
Well, Ben, keep in mind, Modus, again, was started by guys from the industry, right? So guys like me that have worked in the install bay, done fabrication, understand what it takes and the time it takes to get to that point to actually build something. So what we've done, since we've designed all the product, we're going to make the CAD files available to our dealers, right? So all of you guys out there that are doing 3D design, 3D print, laser cutting, you know that you've got to go in and you've got to measure a product, right? And you've got to cut it or print it and make sure that it fits. We're going to give you the files that we use to manufacture these, things that we've tested, the things that before we release a file, we will actually design, cut, print that file that before we give it to you is to make sure that everything fits. We have all of that capability. So we're going to make the CAD files available. So everything for like mounting points, right? So you want to make a bracket for the screen. We're going to give you the mounting points, the screw sizes, everything. So you can do this. The outside mounting ring, if you're going to 3D print, let's say a flush mount cup, I'm going to give you the CAD drawings for that. So that way it makes your job easier as a fabricator. So again, it's just something that we feel is really important. Again, Modus, all of us are from the mobile electronics industry. We understand, how the shop works and the time it takes, and we want to make that easier. And we are the brand for that. We're going to make that fabrication easier. We're going to give you those files to make everything go faster and easier and more efficient in your shop.
And that was Modus's Jason Digos joining us on today's Connected session. Now, if you want more information on the cool stuff covered on today's show, like any of the new AIM source units coming to you from Modus, make sure you hit up the website at modusglobal.com. Now, my takeaway from this, I am thoroughly impressed. I'm thoroughly impressed because they didn't just decide to make another source unit. No, they went out of their way to make sure that these source units had built-in features that had the installer in mind. Of course, there's the Apple CarPlay and the Android Auto. Of course, it's going to have some DSP settings, which, by the way, are pretty cool on this unit. And yes, is it built for system building? Absolutely. Toslink output? Check. 4-volt 8-channel pre-outs? Check. 4 camera inputs? Check. HDMI? Also check. But for me, the game changer in this whole scenario is the concept of how they had the installer in mind. By providing the AutoCAD files, by being a modular system, by having buttons that are removable. No other source unit in the market does this. So for that, I got to tip my hat. Great job, Modus. And hopefully when these get out into the field, we're going to see some amazing creations from all you great fabricators out there. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.